participating in FIT helped when you think about the growth of FIT over the last 5 years. Can you tell me a little bit about your show that is participating in FIT helps your company?
Itself is like much bigger than any one individual company.
I think there's a lot of people that come to see FIT that maybe aren't big theater goers, or a lot of them haven't been to the theater much.
Walk up to an average person on the street and say, when's the last time you saw a good piece of live theater? And not many of them can say something immediately.
It seems to be something that the general theater-going public really likes.
The FIT is a showcase for that, almost unlike anything else in Dallas, that you really understand what an artist is. An artist is somebody who speaks in a certain way.
There is something going on in Dallas, the theater community. There is something worthy.
It's a great big mixed bag of edgy stuff.
You have Taste of Dallas for restaurants, you got Taste of Addison, you have all these wonderful things for restaurants. You know, it's about time that we had something for theater.
It also provides an opportunity to produce with other people in collaboration, so it's much more of an event.
Well, back in 1998, I was the theater manager here. I was the second in command. And I got to deal with all of the theater companies as they came in to do their shows here at the Bathhouse.
He approached us to ask if we would help produce it because he somehow thought that we were organized. I don't know where the hell he got that idea. That was the line he gave us anyway.
And there were a number of shows, there were 6 or 7 companies that I had dealt with on a regular basis, and sort of got to know them both as producing companies and as producers.
Audacity Productions, second year to be in the FIT, and last year I was a newcomer, so I was like, oh, I don't know what the deal is here. This year I kind of know the rundown of it, so my show is more ambitious this year. We pretty much perform North Dallas, Carrollton, Louisville, Plano, that area. Coming down amongst the Dallas companies, Dallas proper, is good exposure for us so that people know, hey, there's something going on up north. Great. You hope the audience will follow you. It doesn't always happen. And also, just developing an audience, a steady audience. You have to be very prolific. And the hardest thing about being an independent theater in Dallas is that on this scale, it demands a great deal of resources. This is actually my second time to direct Cleveland. I directed it 3 years ago at a public high school. I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'm going to throw in, I'll have 11 actors, and I'm going to do this Mac Wellman play again. And would it be the FIT without a Mac Wellman play? And the play itself is about a Catholic high school kid named Joan, whose mother is a middle-aged Trotskyist, and moans about the fact that they're no longer fashionable. And being Mac Wellman, he slipped in all this other stuff, so it satirizes that whole mother-daughter, night mother kind of thing.
Each of the theater companies would bring their own audience. One group would have an audience with a particular demographic, and another theater company would have a completely different demographic.
Well, our theater is named for Bonnie Beardsley, who was an undergraduate professor and mentor of ours at Austin College in Sherman, Texas.
You know, we just, like a lot of crazy people in theater, we wanted to have our own theater, for some unknown reason. Such a great facility for theater and for new groups, and they're very supportive, and, help you develop as an organization. And over the last 3 years now, we've just kind of exclusively tied up all of our money and resources and energy into doing FIT, which has been fine. I mean, it's been our decision to do that, but it's been, it's grown, and we've grown with it.
The Widowmaker by Bill Bozzoni. I really like Bill's scripts because he can take serious subjects. He can take life and death situations and make you just laugh your ass off. And there is a certain amount of outrageousness about it, but not so much that you don't believe that these are real people. Maybe a certain amount of ridiculousness, but I think it's a reminder that we, as human beings, are often ridiculous.
That some companies would be really good at things like marketing, but not so good at things like building sets. So it seemed to me that we could pool those strengths, and we could each sort of work together to amplify those strengths amongst each other.
Boaz Unlocked.
Boaz was one of the pillars
in Solomon's Temple. The Unlocked has to do with unlocking the artistic potential in us, but also in the ways that we hope to bring theater into society through the different, not just having it be just theater, but using lots of music and using multimedia.
Having the opportunity to work with a bunch of companies where we could go to them and ask them a question about maybe something that they've done in the past or advice. And since we're a new company, it was like we had a bunch of big brothers and sisters coming in to give us a hand. Is this technical crew and staff
over backwards.
Bent over backwards. Anything we've needed at any time of the day, night, call on the phone, say, can you do this, can you do that, can you do anything. We have not had to, one time, they have never said no. Harry and Sam Dialogues, and it's about two friends who, it deals with their friendship, and it's really neat because it takes all the intricacies of friendship and the things you do to each other and that you don't do to each other and that you give to each other and that you don't give to each other, and really how you work through it, all the way through your friendship and through your life. And it's about these two men who've been together for 20 years and different points of their lives and how they intersect and how they digress and grow together.
But they all sort of got bogged down in the producing end of it. So what I aimed to do, what my idea was at first, was that there was somehow that the Bathhouse, as part of its mission to foster the growth of these groups, could put a certain number of groups together, and we could put on a festival.
We did our first show in November of 1996. Most of our shows have been classics or near classics. Many of them have been Shakespeare. We've done other shows, or we do a lot, maybe at least one show a year other than FIT at the Bathhouse. So we generally are known as performing at the Bathhouse.
I love the fact that it gives me a chance to just see a lot of production companies either I haven't worked with, or new starts that I just haven't seen yet, and it gives me a chance to kind of see their work and just kind of view what everybody else out there is doing. Fumed Oak is a very unpleasant comedy, as Noel Coward calls it, and it's basically about a family pretty much trapped in this hell, suburban hell, and it's a very loveless marriage that the two main characters are caught in with an overbearing mother that kind of runs the puppet strings, so to speak. And basically, the man has pretty much been their dog boy for 15 years, and has finally had enough, decided that you know he's missed out on enough of life, he takes back to drinking and just kind of bubble ups and then explodes all over this hell of a family, so to speak.
It wasn't even until early '99 that we came up with the name FIT. We felt that FIT, Festival of Independent Theater, sort of aptly described us.
And it started about 6 years ago when Linda Marie Ford and I used to stroll our babies through the mall and talk about why there weren't any theater companies that wanted to do the kind of plays we wanted to do. We founded Ecco Theater, and we named it after the goddess Echo, who had just a terrible history. She had her bones ground into dust and everything stolen except her voice. To make things even worse, her voice was not her own voice. It was always just a repetition of someone else's voice. And so Echo is to reclaim her voice. The theater is to reclaim her voice and women's voices in theater.
The diversity of it actually, I think, strengthens the theater community, and it doesn't feel competitive. It feels like Pam said, oh, look what they're doing, that's cool.
It's really nice to have the FIT theaters now that we know and we've become better friends with, to where if I need a refrigerator and I can't find it, I can send out the email to the FIT group and say, does anybody have a theater or a refrigerator, and know where I can find one? And usually the answer comes right back.
We're producing Ariel Bright for the FIT. It was written by Catherine Long, well, Kate Long, I guess she goes by Kate now. It was written in the 80s, early 80s, yes? And it takes place in a very small town in Missouri, Grayson, Missouri, in 1912, and all of the action occurs between about 5 and 6 in the morning in the back room of a funeral parlor in this very small town, in the workroom. And it involves two men, a man and a woman, two characters, and two coffins and a dead body, and it's a love story.
12 companies doing 13 plays. One of the companies, Echo, is doing 2 plays, one indoors and one outdoors. And we really tried to think outside the box this year as to sort of what makes a festival. What is it about the structure that makes a festival? And so we have the Wednesday night New Kids on the Block slots. And we have the late night outdoor slot. And we have the family musical matinee slot. And then we have the standard 9 companies and the standard slots that we've had the past several years.
Our last name, Klongpayabal, is Thai for good doctor. And so that's where Good Doctor Productions comes from, not The Good Doctor, not the play. We are a new company. We haven't participated in FIT before. We've heard a lot about it. We were very excited when we were asked to come aboard. It's great to see how the other people are doing it, how far they've come, and going, okay, it's kind of hard, but okay, I can see us down the road 5-10 years. Relative Strangers by Sherry Wilner. So these two lost characters, you know, finding each other on this airplane. And then we add in the third character, the flight attendant, Virginia, who, in a sense, is the glue that kind of keeps them together. It's a really touching story, really funny moments, really witty play. Some hilarious lines in it, but at the same time it turns right around and really, you know, you're laughing one second and all of a sudden you're like choked up the next because it goes right into just very emotional sentimentality. And it's very beautiful moments on stage, and I really enjoy working with these actresses.
Suddenly, 100 Dallas actors are all performing at the same place at the same time. They're getting to see each other's work, they're getting to meet each other, and also there's some reunion too. And that, you know, getting to see actors you worked with before. The directors that direct the other shows are getting to see these other 100 actors, and they say, oh, I saw them in Bucket's FIT show. I really want them to do my show in January. Where can I get their number? So I think that's one of the things that it does for the theater community as well.
Ground Zero Theater Company produces only new works by local and regional playwrights. We weren't actually participants in the first year, but Lulu Ward and I, Lulu formed the company with me, we came to see it and we were just like, wow, this is really neat. It's definitely helped people remember who we are between main stage productions. A lot of festivals are run with here's what you need to do, we'll see you at Tech. What we're doing is pretty unique as far as the way the festival is structured, you know, just from the producing standpoint, as much input as the producing companies get to put into what actually happens on the stage.
The show is Necessary Errands by Valerie Brogan Powell. It's actually 3 short shows that all tie together as one whole piece, and in each of the pieces there is an errand of utmost importance that must be run.
I think even from the very first year it was called a theater buffet, in that in any one performance you come and get a sample of this and a sample of this and a sample of this, and can then go back during the year and see a full production of one of these companies. But and then the variety of companies to be able to see a traditional company and an avant-garde company in the same evening, or a comedy and a drama in the same evening, 2 sort of 3 very different shows. And then if you consider the month of the festival, you're getting to see 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 or 13 very different shows. So it has a sort of buffet quality.
Progressive Arts Productions, aka APX Arts, we formed in 2000. Essentially what we have found ourselves to be doing is to take a theater production and to take something that would be the normal variable in the regular formula of a theater production, take that out, insert something different, and see what comes out from that. After we did The Misanthrope last fall, and it got the attention and the critical acclaim after numerous productions before that they hadn't gotten, it finally felt time. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and be out there with the rest of these amazing groups that are up here. So it gets your name out there, and it allows people to see, hey, theater companies out here, we are doing stuff that is just as good, if not in some cases better, than what's out there in the big cities. Dragon Slayers is based on, well, it's by Bruce Koval, who is famous American children's author, famous for My Teacher's an Alien, all those good books, Magic Shop books. And Bruce actually wrote this as a play first, as a musical, and then he wrote the book based on the play. But Bruce is a good friend of mine, and he presented the script to me back when I was living in New York, and I've just had it all this time, and I figured now's the time to do it.
One of the things that Dallas is blessed with is there are so many choices for things. I mean, they're not just theater things. I mean, there's so many different theaters, but you have music and dance and literary events, and there's Fort Worth, and there are all sorts of these cultural events to go to that sometimes it's just hard to make a choice.
Well, Wingspan Theater Company has been around since 1997. Basically, the mission statement is I focus on the woman, and I either do plays by women or about women. Well, Wingspan Theater Company was one of the founding companies, so I'm in year 5 here. And Bathhouse is my artistic home. Absolutely, it is an opportunity to develop my audience further. I know that I've picked up business because of it. And also a little bit of hybrid, a little cross-sectioning with the other companies. They come and they go, oh, Wingspan, oh, I saw you at the festival, and then they'll come back and see a main stage. But festivals seem to create a buzz and an energy and a passion. It's wonderful when everybody's under one roof trying to accomplish a common goal.
Crave is by the British director Sarah Kane. We have 2 men and 2 women in 4 chairs, and they are discussing, to borrow from Shakespeare, and Sarah Kane does as well, to be or not be, basically whether to be here on this planet or not be on this planet. It's not as gloomy as it might sound. I think that there's a lot of life-affirming stuff in it as well.
But you see, kind of the broad scope of what theater has to offer.
But for the patrons to come in and be able to sample these shorter pieces like this, I think it's fun for them, and I think it opens their eyes.
I think fits into what the city of Dallas can partake in the summertime. It's a smorgasbord.
We're heading in the right direction. I think we can only go further now.
The tickets are so inexpensive, and really the Bathhouse is so accessible, and it's not stuffy, and they don't feel threatened to come. They'll come out and they'll see this live theater.
There are a lot of people who are very surprised to know how many small theater companies there are about.
Artists performers are thrilled to get cast in a FIT show.
You know, and I think there's just a natural evolution where we get better ideas and things change, and I think that we're going to see more of that. I think FIT's here to stay.
Well, I think the best thing it's done is all the little wandering theater companies that always felt sort of unimportant in the scene, when they come together in this place, they are important.
I thought they were very adventurous. It's always a good opportunity to see a lot of really different theater at the FIT, and many thanks to the Galgans for bringing a good variety of theater to Dallas.
Gives a lot of production companies that have not had a chance to put their work up to be seen here, and I think it's starting to pick up momentum.
They all have different missions, and yet they complement each other really well. And I wouldn't have necessarily gone out to, you know, just here, there, and everywhere to go pay $15 to see a play with a company that I don't know anything about.
Festival of Independent Theaters. Festival of Independent Theaters.
Festival of Independent Theater.
The Festival of Independent Theaters.
Festival of Independent Theaters.
Festival of Independent Theaters.
The Festival of Independent Theater. See, we're official.